morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Fusion ECT Racing League race number 2. We are out on Watopia for the Out and Back Again course. This includes the Fuego Flats as well as the Volcano climb and the Watopia reverse climb, and then heads on over toward the finish line back over on the Fuego Flats. So a lot of original content with that reverse climb. We've also got Fuego Flats, brand new release, well, not brand new release, having obviously the recent expansion that just came out, but one of the newer releases as well as the Volcano. So lots of new territory that will be explored out there as well as raced. So I'm Nathan Guerra, obviously coming at you here from Zwift Community Live, and this is race number 2 in the Fusion ECT Racing League. It's a 10 racing series. This can be on every Tuesday. It's 8 to 10 p.m. CEST, 7:10 p.m. BST, and 11:10 a.m. PST. And it started on July 30th. We'll be covering every single race from now on for the 10-race series all the way through October 1st. For this race series, it is no power-ups. It is all of them are disabled. All racers using Z Power will be disqualified, and wheel-on trainers and the Elite Turbo Min are strictly forbidden as power reporting devices per the organizer. So the idea with this racing series, and why I picked it up, Zwift Community Live picked it up, was specifically because it looks like they are really looking to press forward with a lot of the racing dynamics out there to try and make it as awesome as it possibly can be for an esport. So let's jump right into the racing as they're about to take off from the get-go here. Do have 57 riders here in the A category as they do take off out onto the out and back again loop here. As they do so, we will be following along with the A category here today. If we can, we will be jumping in with the B, C, and D category out on course as best as we possibly can. Just make sure by the end of the race is when we're going to have to do so because of the ways that the categories do separate themselves out. But 57 riders here in this A category. It does look like we do have One Love on the front here. TSV. See Donald here as well. It looks like under 15 rider already a 1 second gap as they do head out onto the flats here. Now this section of the course is most likely going to be fairly calm out there, but we may see a few attacks early on that try to get away. I have a feeling that they may have some situations where riders do get a little bit of a leeway and are allowed to get just a little bit of a gap out there. We'll have to wait and see if they sleep on it a little bit, and with too much of a gap, it could get dangerous. Now, with the Volcano climb being a part of this, one time up and over the top of that, I'm not sure a whole lot of riders are going to be looking to get into a breakaway situation. I have a feeling that this climb out there that they're going to be tackling, that Volcano climb, is going to be the main point of contention for the racers out there, and where they are going to be looking to make the main moves. But if something does sneak away early on, we could see it being a serious threat out there. We'll have to wait and see if the riders want to try and give it a go to try and be involved in some sort of a breakaway here. So looks like Sneelson here. Fusion ECT obviously going to be showing up in mass out here as it is their race. We'll see if the Fusion ECT riders do want to try and get organized on the front end of the race and make something happen. We are seeing Adrian Timmis, interesting to see out there, as well as Peards here, it looks like, and Anderson. But Timmis showing up on the day. Cool to see Adrian Timmis, ex-Tour de France rider, a rider who has been a part of the Zwift community and racing for a long time. And when Timmis and the likes of these riders with those kinds of names and that kind of long-standing Zwift racing starts showing up, that is when we that's when he starts knowing that the race has gotten the attention of the community as well. So 39 riders, pretty calm here at this point. Now, just so everybody knows, we do have the social media integration. If you do want to interact with the broadcast, we do see Reese here from the Canyon ZCC team showing us exactly how to get that done and interact with us out here today. So if you do want to jump in with us here, let's go ahead and see if we can grab some of the social media integration. So if you guys do want to jump in with us, Zwift New Quiz locked me out of the event. Interesting to see. We'll get to you as soon as we can, Riz here. Andrew Banky here as well saying hello. So just letting you guys see exactly how you can interact with the broadcast here. Go ahead and comment over on Twitch, comment on Facebook, or over on YouTube. Hey, Nathan, good luck. Good to see Zwift Renan jumping in here as well. Fellow broadcaster, actually. Always good to see the other broadcasters hanging out in the chats. And that's another cool thing is we have seen a lot of new broadcasts out there, actually, which is super encouraged. And indoor specialists, Zwift Renan we've seen as well, ODZ for a long-standing broadcast. Make sure to check out all those other broadcasters. It's definitely cool to have and definitely needed to have all of the community covered as much as we possibly can in a joint effort out here. So toward the front end of this race, though, we do see a little bit of a break here. Caitlin, it looks like, along with Hodges, 7.2 watts per kilogram. So Caitlin and Hodges here off the front. The KRT team here now showing up on the day. KISS Racing team trying to really put the hurt on, it looks like, on the ECT. And I think Fusion ECT is going to be out in force looking to try and shut things like this down as these riders most likely going to want to show off their skills in their own race here. Vikings here now with Anderson toward the front with Vang from the KRT, Boxfish from the BRT team as well. As you do see the Zwift Academy badges there all across on the right-hand side as well. Good to see so many riders showing up for the Zwift Academy. And we'll have to see if the numbers in the races do come down a little bit because of the Zwift Academy. You know, super hard workouts to be a part of. But I do see a lot of the riders who are really serious about the Zwift Academy are definitely, well, not definitely, but a lot of times they do the workout and then jump into a race situation to get a little bit more of a kick on their day for the workout. So I thought Westy would be here, but seems he's saving himself for test labs versus saying, what's up, crew? Good to see Casey there as well from Twitch here. Twitch stream went dead in the meantime. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Riz. Thanks a lot for the comment there. But CS Tricks is hanging out, and this is Casey Shum. Guys, if you haven't checked out Casey's stream as well, make sure to do so. Casey, I do know, did just do the ZHR Masters race out on the course that we will be using tomorrow for the test labs, and it looked very hard as I was following along a little bit earlier. Now, something else we want to chat about is this series is going to be running for 10 weeks straight. We can chat a little bit about what has been going on for the series so far. Only one race in, but it looked to be hotly contested for the first race. And for the Racing League right now, the current leaders, I think the Fusion the Fusion ECT team is most likely going to be dominating it so far, but we do see Simon Nielsen at the front of the standings right now, along with Alexei Kalman, and then it's going to be Thomas Malone. That's the first three in the A category. In the B category is Benjamin Berthelsen from Innovation, followed up by Kachel Bernstein, and then for the Vikings team, and Ivar Berget there for the Dirt team. That's your top three in the B category currently in the standings for the Fusion ECT Racing. In the C category, Charlie Ryan from NTR, Keith Butterworth there riding unattached, and it's going to be Aistar Knez there from the Dirt team as well in the top three for that C category. In the D category, riding for the TFC team, it is Richard Seddon, followed up by Joel Cravo from Tuga ZRT, and then Lee Cuthbertson from the BRT team out there in the top three right now. And that is just after 1 week of racing for this series out there. So in the A category, we'll be watching out for Simon Nielsen as well as Alexei Kalman and Thomas Malone there. Did not see any of the KRT riders there out there last week, so it's interesting to see that they are jumping out here this week, perhaps with the broadcast being involved, a few more racers wanting to get their name and team out there into the stratosphere and into the media spaces out there. Kayland here on a little bit of attack here coming out of Norway. Now 160 beats per minute. Now this is the climber. Interesting to see Tomo Kayland off the front, 6.5 watts per kilogram coming from him. Being a climber, It's going to be, not necessarily the section of course that I would expect Caitlin to try and get away on. A. Humphreys here now starts it right on down, it looks like, with Laverick there. Actually, good to see Laverick from Madison Genesis jumping in to the race, actually. So now we are starting to see a couple of the pro riders. Interesting to see that, perhaps a little bit of a tune-up race for him here midweek, but also just the reality of, Madison Genesis. And a lot of the riders from those pro teams that did get involved in the KISS Super League have definitely been jumping into these races and knowing that Fusion is really taking the rules seriously and looking for verification as best as they possibly can. I have a feeling that we're going to see more and more of these community organized races that are looking to really raise the standard of the racing. Start to attract more of that pro-am feel out there amongst the racers. So looking through the pack here, Laverick along with a whole lot of Fusion. Just kind of chilling, it looks like, with a solid 45 plus though still in and amongst these riders. So we are hearing here, it looks like, look at us here day there over at the Twitch stream. Good to see you jumping in here. Good to see Adam Zimmerman as well. Hanging out. And Adam, we are currently doing the Fusion ECT race. And Rich is letting us know Fusion for the win, that his money's on Fusion. With how many riders that they do have in and amongst the group here, they definitely have a advantage as far as the numbers go. We'll have to see how it ends up working out, though, on the day now. So, toward the front end now, though, Kalen again on the attack. KRT seems to be just putting him out there as a workhorse. It seems like Anderson from the Vikings here, 2 seconds back. Humphreys 5.0 watts per kilogram. And I think that the Vikings, along with Fusion, are just going to keep on shutting this right on down as best as they possibly can. So I'm not sure that these attacks are going to go much of anywhere. Perhaps, though, the idea from the KRT team is looking to try and just kind of soften up the legs there maybe of the rest of the riders. As far as who amongst them perhaps will be the go-to for the climb, that's going to be an interesting take, because I have a feeling that Kalen is their strongest rider for the KRT team out there. Hodges can climb, though, that is for sure. So perhaps James Hodges will be the go-to on the climb. We're going to go ahead and take a look here at the live results over on zwiftpower.com. Again, this is a very flat section, of course, here. Chris Sipin's out there as well, though, for the KISS racing team. He can hold a solid 4.1 for 20 minutes, so I'm not sure he's going to be their personal best for the climbs out there. You're also seeing Dafford Williams jumping in there. He's a 4.5 watts per kilogram for 20, it looks like. But we're looking for the punchier climbers here. Christian Oftendal, though, I've been watching out for him on the climb, 5.2 watts per kilogram. So perhaps the A-plus rider here, Christian, is the one that's getting to be set up by. Morton Vang's also out there. This boy can absolutely hammer. With Morton in there from the KISS racing team, I do think that Kalen here is perhaps just softening up the legs of some of the other riders as he is off the front here, just forcing the pack perhaps to put in a little bit extra work before they do hit that Volcano climb. Kalen now backing off 3.1 watts per kilogram. Now back to 4.7, as you can see, and 169 beats per minute here coming from Humphreys as they shuts it right on down. Dave Ranson, good to see you in the chat here, and he's letting us know that Vang is the climber, and not surprised at that one bit here. Now, for the teams that are showing up on the day, Fusion's out there. We are also seeing SS Express team. It's interesting, like these new teams coming out of the woodwork here. Obviously, Madison Genesis we saw earlier with Joe Laverick is out there. The BRT team is showing up. John Brzezinski's out there from BRT as well. A little bit of attack off the front here. As we do see Laverick shut it down, it does look like it is going to be perhaps Nielsen with a little bit of attack, or is it going to be Dafford Williams actually that goes next? So KRT just starts throwing riders off the front, left and right here. Ash here now looking to shut it down, it looked like, as he was up and out of the saddle, but Laverick now heading to the front, 3.9 watts per kilogram. Keeping it calm, it looks like, though, a lot of these riders, as they do settle in and know that the pack is just going to consume any of these attacks that are off the front at this point. So it does look like most of these riders are going to keep it pretty settled, as most likely nothing's going to be happening until they head on over toward that Volcano. They'll be exiting Fuego Flats shortly, and then heading on over toward the Volcano climb. And that's where we're going to start seeing some real fireworks. A couple of breaks have happened in the A category, though. I think there are about 45 riders left here still amongst them, as the KRT, as you do see the blue and orange kits toward the back end of the pack now, looking to make their way back forward here. Ostrink here from Holland SK, though, that we are looking at, settling in at 4.0 watts per kilogram, 163 beats per minute, and with no double draft on and no power-ups, this race is going to be a little bit more difficult on the heart rates and the steady nature of the riders being able to just hold a steady power sitting in. You're not going to get quite as much reprieve sitting into the pack, so a little bit more of a tempo ride for most of the riders, I think, here at this point, because of the settings that are out here. Now, another attack here from KRT off the front. We're going to see if we can head up toward there and see what is happening with the KRT riders again as they just continue to burn matches. Hodges now is the next one to go, and I think Vang is the setup here is going to be Morton Vang sitting in and waiting for the moment. And KRT are just going to keep on burning matches off the front here, I think, trying to maybe get a rider to get away. And the chase is going to have to keep on coming from Fusion and the rest of the teams that are out there. BRT does have a couple of riders. Fusion, obviously. Poland's out there with Chuzinski, as we can see. So there is a solid contingency to take on the KISS Racing team if they want to continue to throw these riders off the front. But if they continue to do so, something might eventually stick, or at least be able to soften up the legs of some of the other teams. And that looks to be the purpose here, as Hodges gets caught and brought back into the group as they do head through the redwoods here momentarily. They'll be taking a left-hand turn just in a second here and heading on over toward that Volcano climb as they hit up Ocean Boulevard. Looking through some of the chats here, and Adam Zimmerman, we are out and back again. Thanks a lot for your chat over on Facebook. So we are heading through Fuego Flats on over toward the Volcano climb. And then they will be doing the reverse Watopia climb and heading back over to Fuego Flats for the finish line in the Fuego Flats area. So one of my favorite courses actually for racing. It's got a little bit of something for everybody. But that Volcano climb is going to be one of the sections that riders are definitely going to be watching out for. And I think that's where things are going to really break up. I think it's a 6+ minute climb up over the top. That they're going to be hammering out here, and I have a feeling that some of the riders are going to start calming down that do want to hang on. Unless there's a rider that wants to try and get away still. It's been KRT that have been the main instigators at the front end of this race so far as they head back on over toward the main island out on Watopia right now. So looking through some more of the chat here. Make sure to bring on all your questions and comments. We love to answer them. Adam Zimmerman let us know he thinks it's a cool course. One of my favorites, that's for sure. And excited to have the racers out here on it today. So I'm going to see if we can bring in a couple new views out here momentarily if we can, as it does look like the riders are heading on over into Ocean Boulevard. And a little bit of attack off the front here. It's always interesting to see when riders do attack on these sections of the course, these downhill sections. This is quite the pack here. I'm seeing Kolb's in here, Worthington's in here as well, Oestrang, Lursveen. I mean, this is a serious contingency of riders here. Some of the fastest we've ever seen out on Zwift, that's for sure, have shown up on the day. So I think some of the top ranked Zwift power riders are out here and looking to take on this Fusion ECT series. So the question for the series that I do have is what is it going to be as far as the best of? I'll have to wait, and I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look and see exactly what the rankings is. It is your best 7 out of 10 that will count, and it does look like, as this just got on the radar of some of the teams out here, I have a feeling we're going to start seeing a lot of the teams start showing up looking to get their best 7 out of 10 races out there. Again, Fusion obviously dominating the series so far. 20 points does go to the winner, 18, 16, and then 10 for fourth. So it does drop off fairly quickly outside of that top 3. But with these teams showing up this week, I do think that the story that's going to be told here for the Fusion ECT Racing League through October 1st every week on Tuesday is going to start developing a little bit differently than just a Fusion-dominated race series, because KRT, BRT, Madison Genesis out there, the Vikings out here as well. I have a feeling they saw that, look, ECT means business, Fusion means business when it comes to their race series, and this is something they want to get involved with, especially with it being covered for each broadcast here. So Kalen now up and out of the saddle here, 557 watts as do exit into this little 3% uphill gradient now. 164 beats per minute, looks to get a little bit of a 1 second gap. Nielsen looking to shut things down, it looks like, and looks like a little bit of a gap here has formed, but shut right on down. KRT on the front, though, looks like maybe going to counter that, and that is a smart move here by Hodges, knowing that Kalen perhaps put a little bit of a sting into the legs. Hodges not full on attack, but then follows it right on up, as you can see here, and it looks like Hodges might be able to put a little bit of hurt into the legs of a few of the other riders here, but Vang, I believe, still sitting in for that KRT team, as they have definitely showed up organized on the week. Everybody else just following wheels and watching KRT, it looks like, at this point. And maybe the smarter move, as perhaps, at this point, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of excitement from the KRT team off the front, a lot of, TV time at this point, as a lot of times they like to call it, but it doesn't always matter, the TV time that you get. What matters is what happens when the course really starts to even things out amongst the riders, when, the rubber really hits the road, the cream of the crop rises to the top when you hit these climbs like the Volcano climb, and I think perhaps it might be just a little bit of fireworks off the front, but nothing that's going to really stick. And a lot of these riders perhaps just sitting in and waiting for those moments that are going to actually mean something out there for the for the race overall. So looking through, and we do see Madison Genesis on the front with Laverick here. Interesting to see 5.3 watts per kilogram. Joe Laverick, very experienced rider from Madison Genesis for the KISS obviously Super League, and Madison Genesis being dominant in that league. This rider's going to know what he's doing here, but interesting to see him putting a little bit of work in here at the front here. 6.0 watts per kilogram. These boys are not slowing down through this section. Is there some sort of little bit of blood in the water at this point? I do think they do see a little bit of separation in the group behind them as it starts to stretch out a little bit. The elastic maybe looking to snap, and so maybe they sense a little bit of hurt in the riders around them as they do see how the pack starts to spread out a little bit. And little bit of kick, but not going much of anywhere. And those little attacks like that, it takes some energy out of the legs, but doesn't always end up rewarding the riders. If you're only kicking 6 watts per kilogram or so, for short periods of time, you got to get those gaps up into those orange numbers to really cause any kind of distance between yourself and the draft out on Zwift now. And now, speaking of kicks here, now going off the front here, we do have a rider. It looks like it is going to be Madsen here from Fusion. So Fusion been quiet up till this point, but with only a couple K to go up until they do hit that Volcano climb, now pumps into 6 watts per kilogram, grabs a 1 second gap here. Looks like C. Donald here, U15 rider now looking to close that down up into 6.4 watts per kilogram. 1 second gap between them and the Vikings team with far up here. Maybe not too concerned about this going anywhere here at this point, but 2 second gap now. Madsen, Fusion, Donald here as well now, 182 beats per minute. This may be a threat here. 2 seconds is something to work with. They got to continue on, though. 6 watts per kilogram, you can see from Madsen on the front. Donald there, 3.2 as he sits in a little bit, grabs that draft here. Hodges now seeing this may be a threat, closes it down for the KRT team. You can see as Hodges looks to try and shut that down on that blue Tron bike behind. Orange kit there is going to be Donald there. And on the front, we do see in the 100K kit, I believe. No, it's the Fusion kit, excuse me. Fusion does look like the 100K kit. Cool to see their in-game kit. But 3 riders off the front now. Nielsen, though, from Fusion, shutting things down, it looks like, for the Fusion team. Not looking to chase down their teammate, perhaps. Now, as they do head into this little uphill gradient, maybe a section of the course where they could shut down that attack with enough on the front here. It looks like that will happen as they do head into the Italian Village and the left-hand turn past the Scotty the Squirrel fountain here. So, love the custom team kits we're hearing out there. Draft kit pops we're hearing from Adam Zimmerman. I'm loving it as well here. What about the C and the D and the B lookers of day? So with the way that this event is set up, and it has a lot to do with how the events are set up and how we're able to go between events. So it is not anything to do with the motivation of the broadcasters. So as you could see last week as well with indoor specialists, they could only cover the A category, because if you only have one Zwift feed or even two Zwift feeds that you were trying to get different shots of, you can't always grab the other categories because they cannot see each other. So it has to do with how the viewing of the game goes. So we will try to jump into the B and the C and the D category at the end of the race here, but we are unable to join all of the categories this week because of with our current setup here for the broadcast. So it is not a motivation of the broadcaster always, but rather some of the limitations of the ability to view the game. So we'll do our best though to jump in with the B and the C categories as soon as we possibly can. I am looking next week to hopefully have more of a setup or more tools next week to maybe be able to jump into those other categories and keep that feedback coming here locators of day. With test labs tomorrow, make sure to jump in the test labs or watch the stream for test labs as well tomorrow. Bring your feedback over to the Zwift forums. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're looking for. Because that is something that we hear a lot. What about these other categories? We want to be able to watch these other categories. We want to be able to view the game in a certain way. And if you continue to put those requests in from a user standpoint, for those who do want to watch an event in its entirety, perhaps on their own, or want to broadcast an event on their own, you could go. Make sure to bring that feedback in, because it is helpful to get new features with the game if people are asking for them in the general viewership here. So see Donald here now, U15 now up toward the front. Kaylin now from the KRT team making their way to the front as they do head into the SEs. Another little kick here, very aggressive KRT again. It does look like it is starting to put a little bit of damage here into a few of the riders that are starting to pop off the back here. 1 second gap back to K Nor, it looks like. Looks like Tim is here just being able to hang on, but there was a little bit of a stringing out between the riders momentarily as gaps did start to form. Looks like fusion on the back end here with Jensen. There's one rider off the back. Looks like from 3R. Chuzinski just jumping back onto the wheels here. Does look like they were all able to grab the wheels through the SEs here. This is a dangerous section out on course, though, with those little uphill gradients. Little punchers do have quite the snap in the legs and can put a lot of hurt in if you are up and over threshold. Now, if you're under threshold, in control at this point of the race, a lot of times they aren't too much of a threat. You just jump right back into the pack. But anybody who can't quite kick into that over threshold at this point, can't give any little bit of sprints, this section of course can be dangerous, or at least put you in a very serious spot of bother out there. But it does look like all back together here. 30 plus riders here at this point as they do take a left-hand turn. In just a moment, they're going to be looking over toward the Volcano climb as we do get the helicopter view. We'll see if we can get the Volcano in view. There it is, just off in the distance. And that is what's going to be looming for these riders to try and take on. 6+ watts per kilogram is what I am predicting for the riders out here today for the Volcano climb. So definitely going to be trying to rest up as best as they possibly can, I think, before they do hit that section of the course. So T-Vest here, Fusion, ECT, Madsen as well, off the dull here, Anderson all toward the front end of the course here, front end of the pack here. KRT now at the back, it looks like, resting up after all the attacks that do send off. Be interesting if we do see somebody try and give it a kick off the front at this point, but I have a feeling most of the riders just going to be thinking about reserving as much as they possibly can before they do hit that climb out there today. So take a look through some of the comments here. Coming from social media, as Hodges hasn't burned all of his matches on lap 1. Has the race even happened? We're hearing from Kim. I'm absolutely loving it, Kim. Appreciate Kim hanging out here. And Kim was also in the ZHR race earlier with Mr. Casey Shum, and out on that new Sequoias and Sand and Sequoias course, and it looked brutal, you guys. It looked absolutely brutal. The flat, but then followed up by the kicks that you have with the climbs through Titans Grove. It just looks like it's going to be a course that is one for the punchers, that's for sure. And it's going to be left hook, left hook, uppercut over and over and over again when it comes to punching out on that course. So excited to see how things do play out tomorrow in that test lab. But here we are now in the race with Hodges. We were just speaking about him burning matches here, and it looks like the candles are all lit with Hodges off the front by 2 seconds. Laverick now chasing it down 5.4 watts per kilogram. It looks like Madison Genesis going to take the matters into their own hands as they do exit the Volcano here and shut down that attack. Here it's here now from Fusion Dev now on the front, looks like. And one thing that's very cool about the Fusion team and why they made this series, I believe, as well as the team, their esports cycling team, is that they do like things being very transparent. They do like their riders being verified. They all are posting in Zwift transparency, their weights to make sure everything is right as far as their weights go. They're really encouraging dual power sources as well so that riders are sure about the power being accurate and correct out there. So whenever you do see a Fusion rider, as well as some of the other teams, KRT I think out there, BRT, there's these teams that are doing a lot of self-governance, and that's really, I think, where it's at when it comes to the internal government of the teams, and knowing like when a team shows up with their brand that's out there, that team is a trusted brand. It's a trusted group that can that is keeping tabs on each other to make sure that their power numbers are spot on. We all know for the last 4 years of Zwift racing out there, as teams did develop out on Zwift, some teams be showing up and people, they're just kind of be like this feeling of, I don't know about that. It seems like the management is not really willing to hurt feelings. Everybody wins and gets a participation award at 700 watts for 5 minutes. So there were teams that just, it seemed like at certain points just weren't willing to do the hard work of hurting some feelings, hurting some pride out there a little bit and saying, hey, maybe your setup needs to get checked on. It's not always that somebody's even like trying to do something that is necessarily deviant or that they're looking to purposefully cheat the numbers or anything. Maybe they just don't know anything about wattage and how things actually work with the human body when it comes to 5-minute peak powers and things like that. A lot of riders go out, buy a smart trainer, they get a mid-level or low-tier smart trainer, and they're like, look, this isn't this industry standard? And next thing they know, they're winning these races against top-level athletes. And, and there's going to be some confirmation bias as well when you spend some solid cash on a setup. So, it's good to see, though, that these teams are out here looking to watch after their own and make sure that when they show up, that their brand can be upheld and that they can be proud of what they're putting out there. And that's what this Fusion esports cycling team seems to be all about, especially with the series that they're putting out there as well. So good to see them putting in the work. And now, speaking of putting in work, Madsen from their team here on the front here, 189 beats per minute, 445, 465, off the door from the KRT team now. She's chasing that right on down. I believe Morton Vang sitting in and waiting to pounce, as we were told that is going to be the climber out there for the KISS Racing team. I don't know where, but off the door here, off the front. Now, 6 watts per kilogram coming in, 190 beats per minute, though, coming from off the door. That is some serious heart rate here being thrown down by the KISS Racing team now. We're seeing a whole lot of chatter coming on through here. And Titans Grove is very different. We're hearing here from the CS Tricks than anything else in the races so far. It is fun. Here come the fireworks. Martin Tucker's letting us know. Nicola Cramner's in the house here. Greetings from Spain. Good to see Nicola from Show Air 2020 team manager. Coming into the broadcast. Excited to see her hanging out. And we're excited to see what 2020 is going to be bringing to the table perhaps tomorrow for the test labs. They also do have that Thursday morning group ride here. You guys do make sure to be jumping in and checking that out. And so we're looking through here. Diffuse Bomb is saying power meters are a bit more accurate than the power estimations by even the highest end of trainers. Diffuse Bomb, I'd actually have to agree with you. And if you guys, when it comes to chatter on those topics, appreciate it in the chat. We definitely like to have those conversations on our a lot of our talk shows. And so maybe a topic for next week that we could bring in to the not-so-weekly wind-up and have a little chat about what is accuracy and how we, the community as well as the racing scene, is developing to have better and better accuracy out there in the world of Zwift racing. But the fireworks are taking place now. 9th place, 8th place currently coming from Vang. We thought we were going to see them a little bit earlier from him, but we're only about halfway up the climb, as we do see the mini map here on the upper right-hand corner change a little bit as we do click on it there. About 15 seconds back, though, is the gap. It looks like to those that are falling off. Humphreys here just trying to hang on. It is going to be Nayer here out of Germany falling off the pace. T-Vest from Fusion, as well as Adrian Timmis here now falling off. It looks like there as well. Coming out of the Netherlands, Anderson here from the Vikings team. Pierce here, Fusion Devo was with them up front here, but maybe a little bit too much too early. We've got about 24 riders here still able to hang on, but the screws are starting to be turned at the front end of this pack now. Morten Vang, KRT said it was their star on the day here, that their climber who is going to punch it over the top, but they still have the Watopia reverse climb. So if you put all of your chips in this basket for this Volcano climb, you could be caught, and it depends on how strung out this pack gets, I think, as to whether or not Morten is going to really give it here and try and get away from the rest of the pack. We could see 2 or 3 try and get away, we could see 2 or 3 get away on this climb, but Madsen here with Kulps and then Hansen now looking to perhaps put a little bit more hurt into the pack, but it does look like they're all kind of just watching each other in quotes at 5.5 plus watts per kilogram, but a little bit of climb left to go. They could get a gap here. 6.2 watts per kilogram coming from Vang. I think he's starting to put the hurt into the legs of these other riders. 4% gradient, not the sharpest point just yet. With this 1 second here at this point, it could pay off here. We are going into, I'm not exactly sure where the riders are disappearing to at this point. Interesting to see that they're all using the Ghost power-up, although all power-ups are not allowed in the game here at this point. For some reason on the Volcano today, it's not liking keeping the riders in the views, but Vang here now is 6.2. This is the section here, I think, that he's going to start to cause a little bit more of a struggle for these riders to hang on if he continues on at this watts per kilogram. Copes here now 2 seconds, it looks like. Hansen here from Fusion now looking to shut this down. Now we really get into the gradients. This is going to start to kick up. You do see the gradient change there in the camera view. 5%, 6%. It's going to get up into the red now, and it looks like Hansen, Kops, off the belt. Trzynski now starting to kick. Vang now into 8 watts per kilogram. Here come the attacks now, and over the top, it's just going to be for the KOM. But, it's interesting to see the riders now disappearing again. We'll see if we can grab on here. We do see the KOM here coming for Vang. I haven't seen now. Will there be a counter? Kalman here now. Henry, Kulps, off the doll, all still looking to close this down. A few riders falling off after that 7% plus gradient here. Will we get a group to break away over the top? This is going to be the section that's about continuance. And we do see Poland coming through with Trzynski here. Kulps there as well now starting to come through. A front group starting to form. Some of these riders just trying to claw their way back. And this is a moment of truth for a lot of these riders here. KRT now with another rider here. Kalen here trying to just grab back on. It looks like Davis here just holding on as well. And it looks like this is going to be your lead group of 17 riders. Boxfish from the BRT team here trying to grab back on. Nielsen there 2 seconds back, but this is the section that it's going to be really important to grab back onto these wheels, because the pack just starts flying away from you on the downhills. As opposed to in real life racing, the downhills out on Zwift are the sections where if you are not with the pack, it is going to absolutely fly away from you. So we'll see if these riders can get back on terms here with this ride here at this point, as it's going to be very difficult, I think. With this gap that is starting to form here, it's out to 5 seconds already. As you can see, it just starts flying away from the riders behind. They've got to put out so much wattage in order to close this down. Look at the 8 watts per kilogram from Nord. Nielsen here now 1.2. Doesn't look like it's coming back. Boxfish now giving up the ghost, throwing in the towel, as it looks like Ortiz now as well from One Love. Now the question is, once they do hit the bottom, how much damage has been done? Can they close it down? But then in front of them immediately afterwards is going to be the reverse Watopia climb. You got to burn a lot of matches to bring this back on the flatter sections of the course, as this group is just going to continue to fly away from them. And even if they do bring it back, then they do have the reverse Watopia climb. We do see the tuck here coming from the Fusion rider on the front. And I do believe that is going to be Madsen here. And over 35 miles per hour, which I believe is right around that 60, no, it's going to be right around, 50-some kilometers per hour. You do get a super tuck, which does give you a free aero power-up, actually. So the Super Tuck that you do see there, over 35 miles per hour, does give you an aero power-up speed boost. If you guys did not know that. So you do see riders jumping into that Super Tuck with zero. You do have to hit 0 wattage on a downhill that's over 3% gradient. And if you are on a downhill that's over 3% gradient and you're over 35 miles per hour, you will go into a Super Tuck that does act like an aero power-up, actually. So it doesn't always hang on to the speed, though, of the pack. And if somebody is really giving it on the wattage, it's still not going to guarantee that you do hang on. But it does give you a lowered CDA. Cool little feature that Zwift did add. Something that I'd like to see played with a little bit more, as it is something that you can kind of game with and strategically use. If you are able to find little 3% gradient sections, give a kick, get your speed over 35 miles per hour, and then perhaps strategically get a free aero power up at times. I think that's a little bit of reward you could get from that feature, but I think it needs to be tweaked a little bit to try and really be able to grab that as much as we possibly can. Going to be a bunch sprint, Ants March is saying. I'm not sure. We're here in Ants March. It'll be interesting to see if it's going to be a bunch sprint. We've got 17 riders here. We still have a reverse climb, and there's been a lot of energy expended here. As far as bunch sprint goes, I have a feeling we might get it down to 10. That is a bunch. But, at a certain point, what is a bunch sprint, the definition of a bunch sprint? If it does get down to 5 riders, probably not get a full-on breakaway situation here. We do have enough riders here, but 17 at this point, I'm not sure they're all going to be able to hang on with the serious kick at about a 350, somewhere between a 330 to a 350 climb on that reverse Watopia. And then that does get into the flat, and there is a little bit of a section onto Ocean Boulevard where we still can try and find a breakaway with a couple of turns. So it'll be interesting to see. We could see a couple of risks being taken, and with riders here maybe not too interested in a bunch sprint, there are a few that may be able to try and climb away and TT away from this main pack of 17 riders that we do see off the front. Jerry Delport saying no breakaway today. Let's start hearing your predictions over on social media here. Let us know what you think is going to happen over in the chat. We'll definitely be watching for that. Nicola Kramner saying tomorrow Zwift Classmates Richmond Challenge, 2 laps UCI World Course. Chloe Dygart won on this course in the KISS Super League. Yes, so the women's tomorrow Richmond Challenge is happening. Immediately following that, we're looking to build on the hype of the Pro-Am racing with some community test labs racing immediately afterwards. So make sure to tune in over on, I believe it's going to be on Zwift Live. It may be shared through as well on Zwift Community Live. We'll have to wait and see about that. But make sure to tune in for that. And then immediately following that, here on Zwift Community Live, we'll be doing test labs with some community racing on the new course. So back-to-back race features. So make sure to check out both of those races tomorrow. 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is 7 p.m. British Standard Time. So British summertime. Tomorrow, the Zwift Classics out on 2 laps of Richmond. Then immediately following after that at 2:20 p.m. CST. That's 8:20 p.m. BST. Jump in and join us for the test labs, as we're going to be out on sand and sequoias tomorrow. So looking through some of the chat, as we went down, how do the sprints at the end of these races work with everybody being so close? Are there often multiple people? We're seeing here multiple people finish. I'm going to see if I can bring in your chat here. For some reason, it's not all coming all the way through. But finishing in first. No, we do have, so there is a back-end API. ZwiftPower.com is where you want to head on for that. And it looks like some people are looking to answer some of these questions. But CS Tricks is coming in here as well with a whole lot of chatter. Guys, it looks like we need our own little talk show for sure. And Casey, maybe Casey, you could be in here as a co-commentator, bringing a little bit of color. As it looks like you got a lot to say on some of those topics. But the sprints at the end, it'll be a bunch sprint, most likely it looks like, and the backend API, it don't lie, and it can come down to up to hundreds of thousandths of a second, and it does reward the correct person by the digital, finish line, who got across the line first. So as far as where the avatars are at per pixel. It is most definitely going to be 100% accurate when it comes to digitally where they do finish. On the screen, sometimes, even when we do get it on the screen and we see the replay, once in a while, our Zwift feed maybe be a little bit different from what the backend API, but we're talking like not even a wheel length, and it's hard to even tell, and you have to actually go to the backend API quote-unquote cameras to know exactly who came across that virtual finish line first. But most of the time we are able to see it exactly, by half a wheel length, even up to half a wheel length in the replay, and it is true to what we do see over on ZwiftPower.com, where all of the results are hosted as well as the community organizers do organize the races. So technically you can take first place but not cross the line in first on your screen because someone will lag or something. Diffuse bomb, yes. As of recently, it does seem to update a little bit quicker at this point, and I have not had that situation in our race broadcast for quite a long time. But our race broadcast for us is going to be obviously a different feed than what somebody else sees when they are racing online. Now, that is no different, though, than any other esports situation, competitive esports situation, right? You get into a PUBG tournament, you're online, you get into an Apex tournament online, somebody has a little bit of a lag and you thought a bullet was supposed to hit somewhere, or you thought, some sort of strategic move that you made was supposed to have you somewhere where it lagged just a half a second, and you ended up not getting what you thought you were going to get because of what it showed you. Same exact thing. The reality is that LAN versus online multiplayer esports just have that barrier a little bit in them. And if you do want 100% precision when it comes to the competitive nature of online gaming overall, we're not just talking about racing on Zwift. We're talking about esports in general. If you want absolutely no input lag, you do need a live event in an arena or some sort of local LAN event, right? And so organizing local LAN events, something we've seen a lot of the community get behind, and we want to see more and more of in localities start developing their own local events to get that kind of accuracy. I think down the road, we're looking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, something we could see where we do have regional LAN events that are taking place, just like we do see in a lot of the other esports worlds, and that'd be pretty cool to see for that kind of accuracy, where you do start to qualify in these online spaces over a series of races, get verification, then next thing you know, you've got these regional events that are taking place that are led into national, regional, world, etc., championships type situations like we are seeing with Overwatch Contenders League, heading over into the Overwatch League. You see with obviously PUBG with all their regionals, etc. So obviously, I think Hearthstone is one of the ones that does it really, really well when it comes to localities and being able to compete amongst them. Now let's go ahead back into the racing, though, as we do have Oftedal here. Again, KRT on the front. They've burned so many matches on the day. Oftedal, we did see him off the front a little bit on the Volcano climb. This is the initial parts of this reverse Watopia climb. It does kick for 7-8% momentarily. Has a little bit of reprieve here and a negative 2% gradient. Vang here now coming on through here. He was the one over the top of the Volcano, absolutely killing it. 9 watts per kilogram, 188 beats per minute here. KRT looking for the breakaway. Morten Vang coming out of Norway here. He's got a 2-second gap. They put the hurt in the legs. They burn the matches off the front over and over again. We saw them on Fuego Flats wondering what they were doing, and KRT showing up saying they want to put their stamp on this Fusion ECT race number 2. Looks like they're here through October 1st, I have a feeling, because they want to win this series. Vang is off the front. Hansen trying to chase it down for Fusion at this point here. 4 seconds is the gap, though. 5 seconds. It continues to go out in the gap. Now here, look at this pack. It is obliterated. Nobody able to make the chase here at this point. This is a serious move. This may not be a bunch sprint. The breakaway is happening, but Hansen looking to chase this down. And now with a Fusion rider and a KRT rider off the front, and the bulk of these riders behind being a part of Fusion, they're not going to be chasing this. It's up to the Vikings at this point. It's up to Team Experimental, Team Poland, but do they got the firepower? Do they even have the numbers here to chase this down at this point? Davis now seeing this as a threat, kicks into 8 watts per kilogram, up and out of the saddle. The orange numbers are coming. Team Poland here. Chuzinski Truzinski toward the front. Vang has got 10 seconds now, and he gets into TT mode. It's a solo man against the group here at this point. He's got 10 seconds. Can he make it happen? What a move here by KRT. Chat, let me know. Is this going to stick? It's 10 seconds, but the downhill, that's going to be the section. The downhill, the reverse Watopia downhill is going to have high speeds from a pack that's still got 15 riders in it. It would be almost to Morten Vang's benefit at this point if there were some attacks coming out of that pack behind to really put them in a spot of bother at this point. Make them try and bring those heart rates down, make them have too much of an effort at this point so they cannot make any chase in that downhill. 10 seconds, it might not be enough. Davis heads to the front. Looks like he was trying to kick to go across. Was not able to get away, though, from the pack. Shuts it right on down. Team Experimental maybe going off the back, actually, here after that attack here. Now up and out of the saddle again here. We do see it looks like one of the Vikings, I believe it is. Kolb's off the bill as well. It's going to be Evanson here in that Tour of California kit. The blue and black now on the front, looking to shut down Vang. It's 6 seconds. It's orange numbers here coming from Evanson here. The Vikings now looking to get away and not have any riders on their wheel here. Kolb's now just dragging that pack up, though, at this point. Off the bill, sitting in from the KRT, not wanting to bring Vang back. He's still got 5 seconds, but it's going to be about continuance at this point. 6 watts per kilogram, 329 watts, 60 kilometers per hour. Evanson now 56 kilometers per hour. Vang now, let's see, 63s. Let's compare the speeds here from the riders now. Is he going away still? Fusion now with some more kicks. They've got the riders to chase it down. Vang, though, with so much power, he's been waiting for this moment. He's got both of the KOMs now at this point. Amazing ride here coming from Morten Vang. AC Cyclochat here now, 4.1, trying to bring it back. It's only 5 seconds. Lurvsteen now sitting in, it looks like, getting that extra arrow tuck. Only 4 seconds. Can he hold on to 3? It's going to come down to 2 here in just a moment. Will he throw in the towel? But again, if they do not close the gap right to this point, they might just sit up. It's down to 14 meters if it's in 5, and Vang, what an effort. But no, it gets shut down right where we thought it would on that downhill. The speed of the pack is just so much on these sections of the course. Right hand turn and a quick left onto the flats again. Will there be anything left for the KRT team? They had their hopes on being a part of this series, perhaps winning it here, but they may not get that stamp they're looking for in race number 2 here out on the out and back again. AC Cyclochat here on the front now. 38.5 kilometers into the racing. Nielsen, Fusion, ECT. They've got so many riders here still. Looking through Fusion's league standings at this point, it is Nielsen, the rider we're looking at right now. So is this C Nielsen here? No, there are multiple Nielsens, excuse me. So there are actually multiple Nielsens in the race here. I'm seeing C Nielsen as well as a Simon Nielsen, perhaps. So we're going to have to get all the Nielsens correct to know exactly who's going to be winning the race out here. I believe we were just looking at the current leader in the series. Kalman's out there as well, as he's sitting in second place with 18 points. We're seeing Moldestead here from FSK. Watch out for Moldestead. This is a rider that was very quiet so far, perhaps saving up for this moment to take down the sprint out here today in this race number 2 for Fusion ACT Racing League. It's a 42-kilometer race in total. They've covered 39.3 so far. We're in the last 2K at this point. Hansen making the way to the front, looking to set up. It looks like Cyclochat's just 5.2 on the front here. No HR, just killing it, looking to be an autobus, leading things out here at this point. Kalen now trying to make things as hard as they possibly can, perhaps to set up some of the other KRT riders. He's definitely not their sprinter here out on the day. Now it's going to be Evanson sitting in 1.6 watts per kilogram, as you can see, and everything calming right on down as we got 1.5K to go to the finish line. The finish goal line, Jens Fried Rasmussen, is going to be right over by the the sprint banner area. So there's that little a rock cropping. There's like a rock cropping. I wish there was like a big finish banner there. Maybe we need to, that's also something, maybe put a little bit of request over on the Zwift forums. We need a finish banner on the Fuego Flats finish, because it's just kind of like, where is the finish line sometimes? But Madsen here now from Fusion making his way toward the front of the race. We're seeing Truzinski here as well, it looks like, for Team Poland. Kalman here, it looks like Fusion ECT. Is this actually the Danish national champion, I believe? Kalman, second place overall. And this be one to watch out for the sprint. You don't get that national championship kit in game for no reason, that's for sure. They still got the auto bus with cycle chat in the game, it looks like here, leading things out, 5.9 watts per kilogram, no heart rate monitor on, but maybe they can just use it as a lead-out train. And if he's only got 5.4 or so to give. Without the heart rate monitor on, you guys, the cycle chat will be DQ'd, I believe, from the race. He might already have been if we do look over on SwiftPower.com. Watch out for Madsen here now, leading things out. Fusion ECT. They've got, it looks like 2K to go. Excuse me, a little under 1 point. Now it's a 1.5K to go at this point. Kalen sitting pretty good right in second wheel now. Trzynski, another one to be watching out for the sprint for Team Poland. They just back right on off. You do see the riders here making the way to the front, then backing off, making the way to the front, backing off. Here's an attack here from Hansen, though, going from way out, 10 watts per kilogram. Is anybody going to cover it? And there's so many Fusion ECT riders in there. They're not going to do anything, and nobody from the other teams are going to want to put any kind of effort to chase that down, because they're just going to be dragging Fusion up to the sprint section here. So this is definitely a jump that could stay away and be Hansen from Fusion ECT. 500 watts right now. Looks to have won the race with this jump here. As we do look behind, 7 watts per kilogram here. Boxfish saying, somebody put in some work, do something from the BRT team here. But Vang here, 6.9 watts per kilogram. But Vang already burned so many matches. KRT now, they've got to get organized. It's a 10-second gap, and it might be way too little, too late, as the Fusion rider here has 7 watts per kilogram to give, and it looks like it's going to be Hansen that's going to be taken down. Race number 2 here for the Fusion ECT League out on Zwift right now. I'm looking for the Hansen's numbers here as well here. Morten Vang put out a solid 4.8 watts per kilogram for the duration of this race here so far, but was not going to be rewarding him. Off the though now from KRT, it's only 7 seconds though. Is the jump going to come and go across? Hansen with a huge risk, and perhaps it's actually going to get shut down. Madsen, his teammate on the front, what's he doing? He's pulling him back in. Madsen leading the group out. This is totally working against Fusion, actually, and perhaps they're a little bit disorganized. No love lost between the riders here, it looks like, as he looks to try and take down the win as well. Fusion working against their own teammates. Kolb's now just sitting in, and they could be setting up KRT or the Vikings for a win here today. 42.1 kilometers in. They're coming into the finish line momentarily here. There's a big rock arch just off in the distance here. They're all just waiting for it, I think, wondering a little bit as well. It's at the finish of this sprint section. It's about 30 seconds to the finish now, and he's got to hold on to 4 seconds over a 30-second piece of landscape. Not going to happen. FSK Moldestead here goes on the Tron bike, all in purple, as FSK looks to take the win from way out, leading the pack out. Commons now, Altendal as well, 11 watts per kilogram. Here comes the Vikings in blue and black now. Evanson, it looks like, perhaps going to take this one. He's got 12 watts per kilogram to give, and it looks like it's going to be Evanson across the line. Nipping it looks like there. Kalman, though, now going, I believe, and all over the place there for a second. And we'll have to wait for the back in APIs. It looked like there was some sort of little turnaround there at the end. And there was an imaginary, it was kind of like the Invisible Day, I believe, with a lot of little imaginary things jumping in and at us and out of the game momentarily. But it looked like they had to, I think there was just a squirrel. I think maybe it was the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner jumped out in front of everybody, and they had to dodge it at the last second. It's a new game feature, everybody. Roadrunner dodging, just so everybody knows. And Evanson now, it looks like, according to SwiftPower.com. Let's take a quick little double check here at what just went down. But that was an interesting finish at the end there. Left and right, the Vikings, though, able to just pull it off right at the finish there. And I'm going to just double check the results here really quick. I do believe we do have them here. And yes, it does look like it is going to be Evanson here from the Vikings. Alexis Kallman there, who's currently sitting in second place overall. 1/10 of a second back. Kolbs there ends up sitting in third place there. Anderson Jensen there coming through for fourth. It's going to be Christian Altenau for the KRT team. After all that work, they end up in fifth place on the day. Mads Bank Anderson there coming through for the Fusion ECT in sixth place. Mike Davis, Team Experimental. Good to see him out there out of the USA, racing out of California. Good to see Team X showing up and taking down 7th place. Shout out to Davis there. Klaus Nielsen. That, I believe now, I do not believe Klaus Nielsen is your current series leader. Simon Nielsen was not showing up, it looks like, in the top 10 here. So we're going to have some change-ups, I believe, in the top 10 for the A League out there. Then we do see it looks like Peter Strzezinski here, followed up by Stan Lervseen here. So solid result there for the Vikings with 1st place and a 10th place there as well. So let's go ahead and take a quick look here at how things played out in the final few seconds here. And it looks like, interesting to see a black screen. It was a black screen and more of a black screen, everybody here. We'll go ahead and fix this up for everybody in just a second. There we go. And as it came to the line, it looks like Evenson there just able to nip it right at the last second. And solid result there coming through for Evenson as he did take it by 1/10 of a second on the day. We're going to see if we can go ahead and bring in some of the some of the B and the C category as they are finishing up. We'll have to go ahead and find them out on course. It may be difficult to do, but if we can, we will do so. As I do look through some of the live updates here for Zwift. I'm not sure you're going to be able to make it happen, though, as we do move backwards on our feeds. It's going to be really difficult, and there's a lot of people out on course currently for this this section of the course. I'm going to move our way backwards here, and if we can, I'll try and grab the sprints for all you. I know you guys love it when we do grab the A, the B, or the B and the C and the D categories out there. But because we were not a part of that race, as I do move my way backwards, it's not going to recategorize for me, it looks like here. So it looks like we're not going to be able to do so. And there's a lot of riders out there looking to ride the new course with the Sand and Sequoias. So it looks like we're not going to be able to get any more of the B or the C or the D categories. So apologies, guys. I would love to bring in those feeds, but it looks like that's not going to be happening. I'm going to go through some of your social media chat, though, here as we do wait for the results. They will be loading up here in just a moment. And as those do so, we'll bring in we'll be bringing in those chats here we're bringing in those results as soon as we possibly can. Soren Bay, you are the boss, Nathan. Soren, thanks a lot. Appreciate your comment there, buddy. Let's look through some of these comments. Let's have a little bit of chat back and forth as we do wait for the results for the B and the C category and the D category to come in. We'll wait around for a little while, maybe give it about 3, 4, 5 minutes. Casey Shum, you should jump in my Discord, and we should have a chat because you guys were chatting about all kinds of stuff. If you want to, Casey, I am available. I want to hear about, Casey, if you can jump in Discord. I do want to have a chat if you want to. You can go into the Go Gara Discord, or you can also jump into the Zwift Community Live Discord if you could, because I want to know what you thought of the Sand and Sequoias course. If you got a moment, you've got a mic ready. If you don't, all good, man, no big deal. But I'd love to hear what you thought of that. Sprint will close. I'm seeing here. Fromlin's giving a wave there as well. Julian Underzik is saying, Dave Ransom, we're seeing a whole lot of chatter coming on through here. Michael Wozniak is saying, is he really still serving the band for 2016? We're hearing here. Interesting to see. We're talking about somebody out on Zwift that was actually serving a band. So yeah, that's interesting. That's a topic to have a conversation about. Having the in real life situations, and then will the community organizers actually do something as well with the bands, right? Like, will the community organizers then follow along with what the UCI and stuff do? And I think that's kind of a no-brainer, but it's also a question that isn't like officially answered, and then are community organizers even aware? Right? Are they even aware of what's happening with each one and every one of their riders? So Tom O'Kalen giving us the puke sign there. Tom, was that absolutely insane? It looked insane, Tom. It looked like you guys were demolishing yourselves out there today. So it was good to see KRT. You're in general in Go Gara. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm jumping on over there right now. All right. So, Casey, how's it going? And how are you feeling after ZHR? And well, first of all, what did you think of the race today? Give me your thoughts on the race today. See if I can get Casey. I think it's push to talk is on, just so you know. I'm not getting Casey for some reason, guys. We'll see if perhaps I've got him muted. I do not have him muted. There we go. I saw you go green there. I saw you green for a second. Well, I've got a ghost. Everything's ghosting today, it looks like.
Yeah, I can't hear you in Discord. I can only hear you in your stream.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay. Boom, boom, and voice and video default. Boom. Is that better? Check it. 1, 2.
That is better.
There we go. That was my fault. That was a disappearing mic for a moment. And so, Casey, what did you think of the race today? You know, Fusion ECT and what they're up to. You've been one of the most experienced racers out on Zwift. You know, I think that you know, the reality of what Fusion is up to, we definitely want to jump on and support it with how they're trying to really bring in some community verification. We've seen efforts at this a lot of times in the past. I think today we saw a pretty clean race as well as some exciting racing.
Yeah, I think it's good what they're trying to do here. They're essentially taking the esports rules that Zwift put together and trying to do that in a community format. So, yeah, I think it's good. It's trying to bring that little bit of cleaner race to the community, and but it does provide a little extra burden on the riders to do a little extra to make sure that they're proving themselves and racing legitimate. But yeah, I think it's good what they're trying to do.
Yeah, right on. And then right before this, I was watching a race. I was fan viewing a race with you and Kim Little from Team Experimental. You were doing the ZHR, and you were out on San Sequoias for 2 laps. It looked like a very active race. We have tomorrow, everybody, we do have the Zwift Community Live Test Labs. I'm just going to do a quick little Test Labs. If you haven't seen this logo out there, you know, tomorrow, 2:20 p.m., immediately after the Classics. We're doing the same course as what you guys did today for the ZHR race. What did you think of the course? What do people have to expect for tomorrow?
The course is a lot of fun. That section through the Sequoias, it's a general uphill, downhill, just kind of going up a hill and crawling back down out of there. But the entire thing rolls. Even when you're generally going uphill, it goes 5% for a few meters, and then it'll dip down to 0 and back up to 5. And you're constantly varying your power. Even on the descent, that's true. You've got maybe a quarter of a mile of a straight descent, and then it rolls up and down 7% the rest of the way down the general descent. So you're constantly on your toes. You can't rest on the descent. You can draft pretty well on the hill, but you can still hurt people on the hill. So it's more of a flat race, but way more ability to hurt your opponents if you hit the right places. And it's kind of deceiving climbing up into there when you do it the forward direction, because the climbing really starts all the way down at the roundabout on the in the sandy area, and it climbs to the intersection. You have a little reprieve through what I call the dinosaur ponds, and then you hit the proper KOM. So it actually ends up being like 2, 3, or 4 minute efforts climbing up through there.
Right on. So some serious punchy efforts. Essentially, you're getting like a whole. Oh, we lost our racing there. Essentially, we're getting a whole bunch of repeated forward KOMs. It sounds like when it comes to the Watopia, like something along those lines, but over and over and over again. Sounds like quite the workout for tomorrow. So one last thing, are you going to be streaming, or what's your plans over the next week and with Team Experimental? I'm wondering, and then also guys, a shout out to CS Tricks. He's a longtime streamer over on Twitch, one of the longest standing, most experienced racers. Make sure to go check him out, CS_Tricks on Twitch. I'm going to go ahead and send a link out to all the spaces for that, actually, so everybody knows where to find him. But yeah, are you going to jump in for tomorrow, or are you part of, no, there's no classics for the men tomorrow, so what do you think about Test Labs tomorrow?
I lost you in Discord too.
Oh, lost me in Discord? Gotcha. Oh, see if, oh yeah, okay. So no more? You got me here? Check 1, 2.
There, I gotcha.
Yeah, you got me. So tomorrow, Test Labs? No Test Labs?
I gotta check my calendar, but yeah, I'm going to if I can.
Right on. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I'm excited to see how things go. Thanks everybody thanks a lot, Casey. I appreciate that. Maybe we'll jump in tomorrow, get some live shots of you tomorrow if you do jump in with the test labs. So, cheers. I appreciate
Yeah,
your
sounds
time.
good.
All right, later, Casey. All right, we do have the B category results up for the Fusion ECT. It looks like Ivar Berget followed up by Alexis Luge from Race 3R. Good to see Alexis out there for coming out of France. It's going to be Marshall Witkowski followed up by Ned Bowen, and it's going to be G. Blundred, Russell Batchelor, Dan Lunin, and then it's going to be John Arnar Sigur Johnson from the TFC coming out of Iceland. That's going to be Tom Elvius there, Brisen Fusion Development, and Stephen Carson there. Looks like for race 3R in 10th place for the B category. For the C's and the D's, we're still waiting for some of the results to come on through here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Zwift Power real quickly here and see if I can at least give you guys an idea of where things are standing. Does look like no finishers yet, but it does look like it's going to be Richard Dalen, followed up by Claude Spallinger, and then Aiz Taknez there as well for the dirt team. That's your top three, and they do have a solid breakaway at this point, a minute and a half up from any of the chasers. So it's going to be between those three, I believe, for that C category. For the D category, Michael Cruz is on a solid breakaway for the BRT team right now in that D category. Alistair Brown there in a group with Christoph Prube, it looks like, out of Germany. So that's your top three currently in the D category. BJ Alfonso gave me a message right before the race today and said he was jumping out there for the PTZ team. He's out there in the D category racing away right now as well. I believe sitting in within the top 10. So good to see BJ Alfonso for PTZ jumping back out there in the world of racing. But all right, everybody, that's going to be it from me as it looks like we're just getting a few of the results coming in for the C category, but we're not going to be able to populate them just as of yet. So hopefully next week, everybody, will be able to swap between the categories a little bit better and be able to cover them all. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the Zwift Classics race over on Zwift Live. It may be broadcast also here at Zwift Community Live. We're still trying to figure whether or not that's happening, but we'll definitely be having the test labs. If you haven't signed up for test labs already, just go ahead and jump into your companion app. Jump in there. The idea of test labs, you guys, is that we are testing out new features, new tweaks to the game. Tomorrow's tweaks are very subtle, but it's something different. It's definitely something different that we have not seen before. And we're also out on Sand and Sequoias. Brand new course, new tarmac. We're going to be broadcasting that 2:20 p.m. immediately after the Zwift Classics 2 laps of Richmond women's race. So make sure to tune in for that. Hit the reminder button. If you haven't done so already, hit that follow button, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, or Facebook, wherever you are watching right now. Turn on your notifications so you get a notification anytime that we do go live. And as always, everybody, since we did hit up the volcano today, maybe we do a little bit of we're gonna give you guys a little bit of lava before we go, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the test labs.
Wait, I'm actually going faster and faster. Oh, yes! See you later, everybody. Well done.